Good day and welcome to News Now on TV360. I'm Thelma Okoro. The outbreak of meningitis in Nigeria has spread to Delta State in the nation's southern region. According to doctors at the Central Hospital in Warri, a female patient in the hospital has been diagnosed of the disease. The case has now been reported to the State Ministry of Health for appropriate actions. This current outbreak of meningitis is the worst outbreak ever experienced in Nigeria since 2009. The country has recorded over 400 deaths in the outbreak. The United States has agreed to sell high-tech aircrafts to Nigeria to tackle the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast part of the country. This deal would allow Nigeria to purchase up to 12 fighter jets with sophisticated targeting gear for $600 million. Former President of the United States Barack Obama administration originally agreed on the sale of the fighter jets but delayed it after incident it says raises human rights concerns. Reports say the deal will also involve training, surveillance and military intelligence to support the ongoing war against insurgency. The Nigerian military has released 593 detainees after they had been cleared of any association with the Boko Haram terrorist sect. Theater commander of Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Lucky Rabo, handed over the detainees to officials of the Borno state at a ceremony in Maiduguri. Receiving the detainees, the state government said it had already provided enough facilities for the rehabilitation of the members. The Bring Back Our Girls advocacy group has called on the Nigerian government and security agencies to be thorough and exhaustive in the search for the remaining missing Chibok girls. The group made the demand at a workshop on missing persons organized to mark 3 years since the abduction of the Chibok girls in Abuja.
The two challenges that we have basically is the issue of transparency. How transparent are the government institutions in opening up, in owning up to some of these cases? The second issue is the issue of accountability. And also added to it is the issue of inclusiveness. When the people in the Northeast have the confidence and the boldness to come out and speak and say their minds and be able to say what exactly has happened to their loved ones. We have not seen 10, 15 of my family members. And someone somewhere, local government chairman sitting somewhere says, no, in this environment, in this community, we only have 10 missing persons. We try to politicize everything. So for me, the starting point is to open up, sit down, engage in open discussions with the people, affected families, victims' families, and let's come to a point where they can actually say their minds without any fear of reprisal.
I think that what we need is not an agency. We don't need another agency. We need the existing agencies and institutions to work together, to coordinate. There would be an overlap with almost everyone that's already working. We don't need another bureaucratic body to do this work. It isn't difficult. A lot of missing persons information are already with the police. If it's not with the police, it's with another law enforcement agency. We need also to work with the military. And we need a military that will submit itself to civilian authority.
And we have been working a lot to develop ways to bring some relief to the families.
Niger security forces have killed 57 Boko Haram members who attacked a village in the southeastern Difa region overnight. This is according to the country's defense ministry. The ministry added that 15 soldiers and 2 civilians were wounded in the attack. Boko Haram has killed 15,000 people and displaced more than 2 million others during a 7-year insurgency aimed at creating an Islamic State in Nigeria. Members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria have taken to the streets of Abuja to protest against the continued detention of their leader Ibrahim El-Zakzaki. In an attempt to disperse the protesters who converged at Unity Fountain, policemen sprayed them with tear gas and water. They were later addressed by former chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Chidi Odinkalo. El-Zakzaki has been in police detention for close to 2 years now, despite a court order calling for his release. The Shiite members are angry that the Nigerian government has failed to heed the court's orders and release their leader and other members.
This is an embarrassment to the government, as rightly stated by the Federal High Court judge who gave a court order for the release of Sheikh Zakzaki. Daily people come on the streets embarrassing Nigerian government. You know, it's highly embarrassing because this is a standoff against humanity, against human rights. So we are calling for the unconditional and immediate release of the leader of the Islamic movement, Sheikh Ibrahim Zakzaki.
Others saying Nigeria should pay him 50 million naira. That having destroyed his house and places of worship and his mother's grave, that Nigeria should rehouse him. And what is Nigeria doing? Nigeria is detaining the man to whom it owes money. Think about it. Our children were killed. 2 3-day-old children were massacred. And instead of feeling remorse, what are we doing? We are oppressing the victim. And we are told we cannot match. An injustice against one is an injustice against everybody. I, the Jadeyoju, do not see the reason why Sheikh Zakzaki and his wife will be shot, will be detained for 484 days without trial. Even if somebody committed murder, such a person should have his day in court. Why will they not take Sheikh Zakzaki to court? Why? What is his crime? As Nigerian and as our stakeholders in the Nigerian project, I cannot fathom why.
Amnesty International says over 1,000 executions were carried out in 2016 across 23 countries, a historical spike unmatched since 1989. The human rights group says the rise in 2015 saw Nigeria alone account for over half of that number in sub-Saharan Africa, with over 527 death penalties. Our correspondent Flourish Alonge has more on that story.
As of 2017, Nigeria remains one of the only countries in the world where capital punishment is legal. The country has constantly faced backlash for failing to abolish the death penalty. In 2016 alone, Nigeria recorded over 527 death sentences. Human rights group Amnesty International says the country handed down more death sentences that year than any other country except China. This historical spike has placed Nigeria at odds with global trends. Launching its annual global report, Amnesty International say it is time for Nigeria to review its stance on capital punishment.
In Nigeria, Lagos State imposed the highest number of death sentences in 2016. 68 people, which was closely followed by Rivers State with 61 persons, according to official record provided by the Nigerian Prison Services. By handing down more death sentences last year than any other country except China, Nigeria has tripled its use of this cruel and inhuman punishment and skyrocketed up the shameful league table of the world's death penalty offenders.
In its report, Amnesty International revealed that death sentences in sub-Saharan Africa rose from 443 in 2015 to at least 1,086 in 2016. This figure, they say, is mainly due to an increase in Nigeria's figure.
2016 death penalty global report we are presenting focuses on China because it now has the highest number of executions in the world. But before we go to China, let us start from home here in Nigeria. The massive and worrying spike in death sentences recorded in Nigeria in 2016 put the country at odds with the global trend towards abolition of the death penalty. Death sentences in sub-Saharan Africa rose from 443 in 2015 to at least 1,086 in 2016, mainly due to an increase in Nigeria, which rose from 171 to 527, putting it second only to China, whose death sentences are shrouded in secrecy.
Criminal justice system.
Collins Okeke, guest speaker representing Nigerian Anti-Death Penalty Coalition Group, say Nigerians' use of capital punishment to prevent crime wouldn't stop crime or deter criminal activities.
Our position as a group is that it's a lazy way to approach crime. The death penalty does not deter, cannot and will never deter criminals from committing crime. What will stop criminals from committing crime is to have in place a very strong criminal justice system and crime detection and enforcement system. If you have a criminal justice system that is weak and cannot apprehend criminals, even if you impose the death penalty, it would not have any impact at all. And that's the challenge we've had here in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, 3 people were executed in 2016, the first execution since 2013. And according to information provided by Nigeria's prison service, a total of 1,979 people are currently under death sentence. Amnesty International is now calling on the Nigerian government to officially halt these executions or preferably abolish the death penalty. Flourish Alonge, TV360, Lagos.
The United Nations has warned that the risk of mass deaths from starvation is growing among people in conflict and drought-hit areas of the Horn of Africa, Yemen and Nigeria. As a whole, the United Nations has requested $4.4 billion to address the famine crisis in the 4 countries, but has so far received only $984 million or 21% of that money. Violent conflicts and increasing displacement have deepened food shortages in many places, including Niger's northeast region. The Abuja Division of the Federal High Court has ordered the State Security Service to produce former governor of Benue State, Gabriel Suswam, in court on May 11 for arraignment on allegations of fraud. Suswam and 2 others were accused by the Nigerian government of fraudulently diverting 9.7 billion naira for funds meant for the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program SHOP. The funds were diverted between 2012 and 2015 while Suswam was the governor of Benue State.
The 3 defendants in the charge were supposed to be arraigned. Unfortunately, the first defendant was not in court. The fact is that he refused to accept service of our charge, but the court has ordered that he be served personally through the legal department of the DSS. As we hope on the 11th day of May, when the matter was adjourned to, they will all be present for the arraignment to take place.
The prosecution had filed charges before the first, second, and third defendants, and the date has been fixed for today. But unfortunately, they have not served. The first defendant was not in court. They have not been served. And under the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, Section 123 specifically states that on the criminal charges has to be served on defendants personally, and that they have not done. And so the arraignment can also go on in view of the fact that the first defendant is not in court. You know that they have not applied for a separate trial of the second and third defendants, and so the trial can now go on. The court has, however, directed that the charges be served on the defendant in custody of the DSS.
Yes, we filed the enforcement of fundamental human rights before the Federal High Court, and we are waiting for a date for the hearing of that. He's going to exercise his right under the law. That's purely unacceptable. You know, you can't detain somebody since the 25th of February without charging him to court. That's totally unacceptable.
Oil giant Shell has admitted for the first time that it knew that some of the payments it made to Nigeria for the rights to an oil block would go to Malibu Oil and Gas. The company is associated with Dan Etete, a former Nigerian oil minister and convicted money launderer. Shell's admission comes after emails were published showing Shell negotiated with Etete, who was later convicted of money laundering in a separate case. Shell and the Italian firm ENI agreed a $1.3 billion deal with the Nigerian government for the rights to exploit OPL 245, a prime oil block off the coast of the Niger Delta region. That deal has, however, been marred by so many controversies. Police in Akwa Ibom State have confirmed 2 Turkish men have been kidnapped from a hotel room in the state. The pair, who worked for a construction company, were abducted on Sunday evening in the town of Eket. No group has claimed responsibility for the abduction, and no ransom has been demanded from the authorities. The Federal Road Safety Corps has suspended Ayodele Kumapayi, its sector commander in Rivers State, for cutting the hair of female officers with scissors. Photos of the controversial action, which came during a routine parade exercise, circulated the internet on Monday. The FRSC spokesperson Bisi Kazim said the other officers who participated in that act have been suspended alongside Kumapayi. Long queues of anxious motorists outside filling stations have resurfaced in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The queues were noticed outside the NNPC mega station, Fort Oil and Owando filling stations in the Central Business District, as well as the Corn Oil and Total filling stations opposite the NNPC towers. NNPC spokesperson Undu Ugumadu said consumers have nothing to be afraid of as the corporation has sufficient stock of petrol in depots across the country.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Glad to have you back. It's now time for business news with Fidelia.
Thank you, Thelma. Nigeria Central Bank says it's offering up to $20,000 per quarter to small and medium-sized enterprises. The CBN also announced plans to sell shorter-dated dollar forwards to inject liquidity into the official market and try to support the naira. Nigeria is battling a currency crisis brought on by low oil prices, which has tipped its economy into recession and created chronic dollar shortages. Now, the CBN has so far injected over $1 billion in the foreign exchange market in an attempt to ease the pressure on the local currency. The combined installed capacity utilization of NNPC refineries located in Port Harcourt, Warri and Kaduna increased by about 29% in January 2017 compared with their performance in December 2016. In its latest monthly financial and operations report for January, the state oil firm said the capacity utilization of the refineries rose to 36.73% in January as against 7.55% recorded in December 2016. The report noted that under the new model, each refinery was purchasing crude oil at export parity price, processing and selling the corresponding product on its own account. Crude oil eased from a 5-week high on Tuesday as rising U.S. shale oil output offset concerns over geopolitical tensions in the Middle East and output cuts being made to support prices. Brent crude futures was down 20 cents to close at $55.78 a barrel, while Urals crude lost 15 cents to close at $52.93 a barrel. OPEC and other producers have pledged to cut output by 1.8 million barrels per day in the first 6 months of 2017 in order to get rid of excess supplies. That's all on business. More stories coming up. Don't go away.
Corruption not in my country.
That was a very good business. Yeah. The furniture you brought was very perfect.
But that's how we roll.
Let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I doesn't do business like that now. Yeah.
Hey, that can give me back my check. Let me go and look for someone that understand business.
Take.
Your loss.
Man, it is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
Now get out.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No,
You will die.
That is the door. Now get out from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people, make una really add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Egyptian security forces have killed 7 suspected Islamic State militants in a shootout in the country. The incident occurred a day after Egypt's cabinet approved a 3-month state of emergency in the wake of attacks on 2 Christian Coptic churches that killed at least 44 people. The 7 militants were killed after they opened fire and security officials who approached them as they were meeting to plot further attacks on Christians in the region. G7 nations have failed to agree on a proposal by Britain for sanctions against Russia in the wake of a deadly chemical attack that they say was carried out by Moscow's ally Syria. The 2-day meeting of foreign ministers was aimed at hammering out a unified approach to Syria's crisis. But divisions arose as UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson proposed sanctions against Syrian and Russian military figures over the chemical attack. Moving on to sports stories now, Nigeria's football chief Amaju Pinnick has admitted that he gambled with his decision to hire General Raw as coach of the Super Eagles team. Speaking to journalists, Pinnick said the country's football was stuck between hiring a foreign or a local coach before eventually opting out for the German. Raw has had a splendid start to his Eagles coaching career and is undefeated in his matches so far. In the World Cup qualifiers, the Eagles currently hold a commanding lead in their group after achieving a 100% record in their first 2 matches. Former Leicester City manager Claudio Ranieri says he does not believe the players were involved in the decision to dismiss him from the club. The Italian was sacked last month, just 9 months after leading the club to a historic Premier League title. Reports in the British press following his dismissal had suggested that Leicester City players had played a significant role in his dismissal. But speaking at Sky Sports Monday Night Football, Ranieri admitted that the players did not give their maximum, but insists that he does not believe they had any reason to cause his sack. Argentina's manager Edgardo Bauza has announced his resignation from the post after just 8 months in charge of the team. The 59-year-old announced his resignation after leading the team to just 6 wins in 14 World Cup qualifying matches. The team is currently in 5th position, 1 place behind the automatic qualifying sport and a point behind 4th place Chile. Only the top 4 teams to qualify automatically for Russia 2018, while the 5th-placed nation will play off against an Oceania opponent. That's the news now. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Thelma Okoro.